That real hip hop.
Y'all know how we do.
You're listening to Philly's own Matthias, aka Mr. 16 Bars. That real hip hop.
Try to tell people that Philly is a special breed.
They hate to see us on top, they hate to see us on. They hate to see us come up, they hate we on. They hate the moves that we make because it's made to break them. We give them knowledge on tracks and hope our words can save them. I guess it's hard to get props when you know you lesser. So we right on your heels, I hope you feel the pressure. Rappers taking a roll, my shoes that never fit them. Before you come at it.
You can either choose to grow and evolve, or you can die. Believe in your future. I believe in going where no one has gone before. I believe that you can trust the kids that are coming along today. I believe that you can give them the opportunity and they will grow and gravitate towards them. Kids have a natural curiosity. We've got to trust that if we give them the tools, the technology, and the availability, they will grab onto it. They are our future. They are our lives. We have to trust and we have to believe. Thank you.
Welcome to this episode of Philly on the Rise. As you know, I am your host, Michael W. Pleasant. This week, we have a very special guest. She's doing some amazing things across the country, amazing things in your city, and it's all for the children. Miss Joyce Hunter, welcome to Philly on the Rise. How are you?
I am doing very well. Happy Monday, everybody. Happy Monday, Mike. I look forward to it. Thank you. It's such an honor to be able to be interviewed by you and get the message out there.
It's an honor to have you on the program. Your experience is quite interesting. You spent over 30 years in IT, and in 2013, you were appointed by President Obama. What role did you serve in government?
I was the Deputy CIO, or the Chief Information Officer for Policy and Planning at the Department of Agriculture. And then when the existing CIO retired, I became the interim CIO for the entire department.
How did you feel in 2020 when Security Magazine recognized your accomplishments?
It was a shock. I always liked running under the wire. I like running undercover. I don't do things to, get attention or bring notoriety. I just do what I think is supposed to be the proper thing. And when they sent me the email and told me that they were going to nominate me as Security Person of the Year, I was completely shocked.
You also led a TEDx talk.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. It's so funny, Mike, that people bring these things up, and I have to go back in my database and go, oh yeah, I did do that. Who would absolutely think that a little skinny girl from West Philadelphia that went to Overbrook High School would do this?
Understood. You mentioned West Philadelphia, born and raised. You also
Yes.
are a proud graduate of Villanova University, and you're still heavily involved with the institution. Tell us about some of your exploits there.
Well, I ran track, 100, 200, and hurdles. And I was very active in what they now call the Villanova University African American Association. We call it the Black Student Union back then. We were pretty radical. Back then, we were only 1% of the population, people of color. Were only 1% of the population at Villanova. So we had a very tight-knit organization, and every homecoming we all get together, regardless of whether it was from the first graduate back in the 60s all the way to current university students, where we can talk with them and tell them about our walk and give them some advice and have them network with us, so that if they're looking for somebody to review their resume, their LinkedIn profile, or even give them some recommendations, we're there for them.
Tell us about your data science camp.
And I was on the board. I was on the Dean's Advisory Board for 3 years.
Oh, okay. Understood. Tell us about your data science camp, of which you founded.
That is definitely a mission. I had no Well, first of all, agriculture, as I said, I'm from West Philadelphia. What do I know about agriculture? When I was appointed, I was in health information technology. And when I went down there, when they, invited me down for the interview, I said, oh, yeah, well, you can put me over in health. And they told me that that's not how this works. Uh, so what they do is if you're a nominated appointee, they send you around to a number of agencies. And whoever puts their hand up and says, verily, verily, I take you, um, that's where you go. And I was completely shocked. I always say, man plans, God laughs. I was completely shocked when I was sent to agriculture. I mean, what do I, the only interaction I've had with farm animals is going to the Philadelphia Zoo with my mom when I was like 5 or 6 years old. And I had a goat chase me and tried to chew my dress. And I didn't like that at all. And I never went back to any kind of farm at all. So I thought this was a real joke. So I went to Department of Agriculture, and at that time, President Obama came out with a open data executive order. Some executive orders are really good. This one was one of the good executive orders where he asked all of the federal government agencies, because data was everywhere. You couldn't find things if you wanted to work on a project or do certain innovative innovations. There was nothing available, no database that housed all of the data from all of the federal government agencies. So that's what this executive order did. And as part of the executive order, they wanted us to come up with, some ideas on how we could get people engaged and get the information out there about what's available for them to use on an open, public, free basis. And it's still there. It's called data.gov that we initiated. So we went to a meeting at the White House, and everybody's whining and moaning and groaning about we do not have enough data analysts, data scientists, and the people who actually can wrangle the data and put it in one place and keep it safe and make sure that it has the right tags on it so people can actually get to it. Well, it just popped into my head. That's why I said this is a mission. Why don't we create a camp so that we can create a pipeline for these people, for these agencies and corporations? And the answer I got, and I said, well, why don't we use urban kids? We need to build the pipeline, and why not use urban kids? And I was kind of patted on the head and said, well, no. And so I said, well, nobody tells me no. I'm pretty determined and persistent. So if anybody knows Washington, D.C., there's about, I would say, a mile and a quarter distance between the White House and the Department of Agriculture. And it was about 95 degrees that day. It was about August. No, I'm sorry. It was May, and it was an early summer. And I walked from the White House back to the Department of Agriculture, marched up to my boss, the CIO, and told her what happened. And she looked at me and she said, so what are you going to do about it? And I said, well, I want to create a camp. And I told her all this. And I don't know where the words came from. I just, gave her the fire hydrant routine. She sat there and patiently listened. And she said, okay, let's go down and tell the deputy secretary. I said, I just walked back from the White House. You know what I look like, after 95-degree weather. She said, you're passionate. Let's go. So we went down to the deputy administrative secretary. His name was Dr. Gregory Parham, and told him my idea. And he said, you can't do that. And I was mortified. He said, you can't just name it STEM Camp for Agriculture. This is the name that it's going to be: Science, Technology, Engineering, Agriculture, and Math. This is going to be a STEAM camp specifically for agriculture. Well, I was overjoyed. And a person that was helping the Obama administration put together this open data initiative was called New Government. And they were out of the Parsons School of Design. They were teaching design thinking methodology. And so they partnered me with them. And I worked with their graduate students. And within 1 year, we came up with the curriculum. So this was 2013, July of 2014, we had our first class. I had two separate sets of class, 13 to 11, and then 14 to 17-year-olds.
Congratulations on this STEAM camp. How's it going thus far? You founded it in the mid-2000s, and it's now 2025. What's the success looking like for you?
Oh my gosh, I could not have asked for better success. I just completed my 11th year. I mean, can you believe it? From just an idea in my head, being angry, to doing this. So the first 4 years, it was on the bottom floor of the Department of Agriculture. When the administration ended, I did ask the incoming administration if they wanted to keep it. They said no, they did not want to keep it. I was overjoyed and thrilled because I wanted to take it with me. And I did. And the very first year, I was over at GW, and I held the camp there for the very first year. And then COVID happened. And that I was whining about it. And I don't know how I met the dean of the causes program, which is the Department of Agriculture over at University of the District of Columbia. His name is Dwayne Jones. Wonderful. I mean, just thinking out of the box. He rode a shotgun with me, and he didn't know me from the man in the moon. And when I was telling him about the program, he said, "Well, bring it here." I said, "Well, it's COVID." He said, "We'll do it virtually. You can use our resources. You could use whatever you need." And we did. 2020 and 2021, we had the camp virtually. So since 2020, basically, I've been hosted by the University of the District of Columbia. And that made me think about doing these camps at HBCUs. And so I have been. I've been doing the camp at Tuskegee. I did the camp at Bowie, and I have the camp at UGC. And I want to bring the camp to Philadelphia.
Yes, that's part of this conversation. You are bringing it to Philadelphia quite soon, I believe. Why
I
Philadelphia?
was home. It is home, and I think young people everywhere should be able to gain the benefit of having these kinds of experiences. We don't, but when the kids first come to the camp, they think we're going to hitch them up to a mule and a wagon and put them in overalls. But then we start talking about the science behind the data. What is keeping the plants safe? How do we get the food from the ground to the table? How do we make sure that all the information is secure when you upload it to the Department of Agriculture so that they could do their feed information through the Chicago Board of Trade? It's been successful. Like I said, 11 years, 500 over 500 students in 11 years. 10% come back for a second year. Sometimes we can't get rid of them. They come back for a third year. And then some of them actually come back and become facilitators. I do not call our counselors or camp counselors teachers, because that's not what they do. They facilitate conversation. I want young people to learn, and in fact, I don't even call them students. I call them learners. So these learners actually come to us and learn different topics. And we take policy issues so that they can actually develop a hypothesis, look up the data and do the research, develop their presentations, and deliver a capstone at the end of the 2 week or 3 week period of time.
Amazing program. This STEAM program, we talk about the A for agriculture, but there's another A, give the option for athletics.
Yes, 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 absolutely. In fact, I just delivered a workshop yesterday for the Jack and Jill Association for Northern Virginia, where we had 25 young people involved, where they had a very condensed class of science, technology, engineering, agriculture, and math. We also use policy issues like CTE or brain injury, sports marketing, and cybersecurity, unethical and ethical uses of AI in marketing and agriculture and athletics. So that camp has been going on for 3 years. And we are very, very excited about the possibility of bringing it, that or the agriculture camp or both, to Philadelphia. We could do it in as long as we have laptops, and we could get people to donate laptops for the students. We could do it in the basement of the church. I grew up in White Rock Baptist Church in Philadelphia, and we can do it anywhere. It does not have to be a school, although it's better to have it at a university, community college, so that we can have the infrastructure, the network, the laptops. We could use the computer labs, which are typically not used during the year.
You're a graduate of Villanova University. Brian Westbrook, former Philadelphia Eagle, is also a graduate. I believe you are partnering with him to some capacity.
Yes, with both camps actually. He has a farm in Maryland, and he has a horse farm that he has, and we have been partnering together. He brings a lot of resources on the athletic side, people that he knows on the Eagles staff, data analysts who talk about how they use combine data to make decisions on drafts. And the other thing is, if you look at the back room, if anybody, next time they have a draft, don't go get something to drink or don't go to the bathroom when they cut to the decision making when they go to the back room before they decide who they're going to draft. Look at the back room and look at who's at those tables. People of color are 87% of the players, but only 3% of the decision makers. So my goal is to change that. My goal is also for agriculture to change that, so that we are more in charge of who we are and what we eat. You are what you eat, and food is medicine, and you need to know how that medicine is being delivered to you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Congratulations on such an amazing program, such amazing accomplishments. How can folks get involved, whether they're in the Philadelphia region, of which you're bringing your camp, or even nationally? How can folks get involved?
Well, they can send an email to dcsteamcamp@gmail.com, or else www.datasteamcamp.org.
Well, once again, Ms. Joyce Hunter, thank you so much for your amazing work over the years. You have served this country, you served our children. Much success to you and your organization, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Have a great day.